Tonight on Joy News Prime, a 40-year-old man who suffered a head injury at EJURA last Saturday has died from his injuries in hospital. The Economic Fighters League says Ibrahim Mohammed was killed for his views on the Fix the Country campaign. Works and Housing Minister orders demolition of a building blamed for floods that destroyed property at the KEJETIA market. It comes as the death toll in last week's floods in KUMASI reached 6, with one child missing. Opposition NDC says a future administration will probe and prosecute government officials involved in the termination of the GP's GC contract, which resulted in a $170 million judgment debt.
President Akufo-Addo, the mother serpent of corruption, who is himself complicit in this matter, fails to act. A future NDC government will investigate this matter.
In business, banks urge to improve know your customer requirements to check cash transactions as EU takes Ghana off the list of countries with anti-money laundering deficiencies. My name is Israel. Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Founder Studios at Kokomimli here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because you're free to air, and also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. A 40-year-old man who suffered a head injury in an attack at EJURA on Saturday dawn has died at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. The deceased, Ibrahim Mohammed, is said to have been attacked by two assailants, yet to be arrested by the police. He was repeatedly struck in the head with objects until he lost consciousness. Medical director at the EJURA Government Hospital, Dr. Mensa Manye, tells Joy News the deceased's head injury was severe with internal bleeding. He says at the time he was received at the hospital, Mohammed was not responding to external stimuli because of the injury and was compelled to refer him to the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital in Kumasi for further medical attention. Sources say he was on oxygen until he died at about 1:30 p.m. Monday. The body has since been deposited at the morgue. Now, members of the Economic Fighters League who have been following up on Mohammed's condition have expressed worry about the incident. Vice General HARDI YAKUBU has charged the Ghana Police Service to leave no stone unturned to bring the culprits of the act to book. Now, HARDI YAKUBU joins us via Zoom on this development. Thank you very much, Mr. YAKUBU. I've seen the statement from your group suggesting Mohammed was attacked for his comments on the Fix the Country campaign. Why do you say so?
Thank you very much, Israel, and good evening to everyone watching Joy News this evening. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to Ibrahim Mohammed, aka Kaka, who was wickedly murdered for no just cause, just merely for highlighting the problems in his community. His blood has been mixed with the blood of Corporatipo and all those who died for this country to become this country. And we would like to assure that his death will not be in vain. This country will be fixed. Now, Kaka had been known to use his social media presence to highlight the problems facing the community EJURA. So even till now, if you go to the Facebook page, his Facebook handle, you will see various videos and pictures that he had taken of dilapidated school buildings, health facilities, bad roads, just highlighting how those things were affecting the lives of people and why those things should be fixed for people to have a better standard of living. He received threats, and there are audio recordings of some of those threats. And some of those threats specifically asked him to stop the things that he was doing. And when he persisted, they attacked him in that barbarous manner on Saturday at dawn.
All right, so you're saying that your conclusion is that the same people who sent those audio threats are the ones who attacked him?
Well, Israel, for now, the people who attacked him are officially said to be on the run. But if somebody threatens someone and tells the person that what he is doing has to stop, or they will stop him by any means, and that person ends up dead, where is the first place to look? And based on some of the things that he had been highlighting and the sort of things that he had gone through, there's no doubt that this man, patriotic man, energetic, brave and courageous man who loved his country, was murdered in cold blood because of how he contributed to the building of his country. All right, we pay respect to his soul.
Yeah, Mr. Yakubu, do you know the people who sent those death threats or those audio threats to Kaka?
No, I don't know. The job of the police is to find these people. The job of the policeman, it is the job of the police to find these people and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law for threatening somebody. Even threatening someone is a crime. You can't just threaten somebody's life.
All right. So you don't know who sent those threats, and you don't know the people who killed or attacked Kaka, but the conclusion is that they're linked.
Speedy investigation by the police and justice to be served swiftly, because as we speak now, we've seen, photos and videos from EJURA, and the young people over there are not taking it kindly.
All right.
And if justice is not served swiftly and quickly, I'm afraid what is going to come may not be so easy to handle in the community. So,
all right, thank you very much. HARDI YAKUBU is with the Economic Fighters League. But moving on, 4 persons are receiving treatment at the BEGORO Government Hospital after they were attacked in what reports say was a bloody clash between residents of Dideso and some thugs allegedly hired by one Nana Busumpim of BEGORO. The thugs are said to have arrived at the resettlement community in KEJETIA on Saturday, and together with a police officer, Constable Kinney Daniel, attacked the farmers on their farms. A statement issued by the Eastern Region PRO of the Ghana Police Service states that the chief, who is claiming ownership of the resettlement lands, together with his men, went to a disputed land at Petiafo near Dideso to question why the residents were farming on the land. They, however, fled together with a police officer who accompanied them and sought refuge in the Dideso police station when they sensed danger. At least one community member and about 3 members of the thugs sustained injuries and are receiving treatment. The Kia truck and a motorbike which transported the thugs to the community were set on fire. The police has since been deployed to the community to avert further clashes. Assemblyman for the area, Randolph Papani, says the constant threats from the claimant to the Dideso lands, Nana Busumpim, to eject the people from the community is to blame for the tension in the area. Elsewhere, doctors at the NSAWAM Government Hospital have managed to stabilize the condition of some 9 persons who were involved in a gory accident at Anof at the NSAWAM Aduajiri Monday morning. The victims were heading to Adeso from Accra in a Ford transit vehicle when the vehicle reportedly lost control after one of its front tires burst. The accident claimed the life of a 4-year-old boy who died on the spot after his head was chopped off, while his mother, together with more than 10 others who were rushed to the NSAWAM government hospital, are responding to treatment. Medical superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Kwabena Ewuku, who assured doctors are doing their best, says so far 9 of them are stable. 8 of the 9 suffered minor injuries, while 1 had a frontal laceration that was sutured. 6 people are now known to have died in last week's flood in KUMASI, with 1 child still missing. During a tour to assess the impact of the rains, Works and Housing Minister Francis Assenso-Boakye ordered the demolition of part of a story building under construction on a waterway at the Safo Market in KUMASI. This comes after traders at the market issued a 7-day ultimatum to the KUMASI Metropolitan Assembly to stop the construction of the building, which is part of the market. According to the traders, this is the first time they're witnessing flooding, blaming the private developer for blocking the drains. Nane Ajima was at the market and filed this report.
Bodies of the dead have been recovered in some drains at Abuabo, Sokoban, Anloga and Ushim. Mama Helen, a popular trader in dried fish, is a victim of the recent flood. She makes efforts to dry her fish under the early afternoon sun. This is the only means to salvage the fish from rotting away. Her fish stock, to survive the impending closure of the fishing season, are wet by flood water, incurring a loss.
It entered the box in which my fish is stored. I took a loan from the bank to buy fish, and now everything is rotting. We plead to the government to help us.
Mama Helen is not the only trader to be affected by the downpour on Thursday. Many other traders have lost goods, running into thousands of cedis to the flood.
Almost all of us were affected. Water has never destroyed our wares. But after the contractor destroyed the drains with their trucks, the place floods.
Following an inferno that swept through the market, part of the market was awarded to a private developer to reconstruct the affected parts. Movement of trucks in and out of the market resulted in the destruction of the drainage system. The private developer is working on another project in front of the market, which has affected the drains here. This has got some traders worried.
This is where the Subin River flows. It takes water from the whole market out. Now it is filled with sand, so when it rains, the whole place floods.
Following extensive coverage of flood issues here at the Safo Market, the Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Assenso-Boakye, as part of a tour to the Ashanti region, KUMASI to be specific, visited the market. After seeing the works that is being done by the contractors on the waterway, he ordered a demolition of it. Now, behind me are some of the traders in the market, taking it upon themselves to demolish the structure.
In a sense, it shouldn't have been built in the first place, but they said to err is human, to forgive divine. Yes, so we're grateful that it's been demolished.
For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
The Ministry of Health is expected to draft a national health laboratory policy as soon as practicable to address a long-standing impasse between the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists and the Ghana Medical Association. The roadmap outlined by Parliament's Select Committee on Health is to address the conflict between laboratory physicians and medical laboratory sciences, which has affected health service delivery over the past years. The impasse has already led to some labor unrest within the health sector, which may further be aggravated if not tackled effectively. Now, we have Joseph Opoku-Gakpo. He has a copy of an internal memo and draft roadmap by the Ministry of Health. Let's start with a memo. What are the details, Joseph? Right, Joseph, you'd have to unmute so we can hear you out.
Right. To run through them.
All right.
Usually, if you can hear me, from the internal memo that we've laid hands on, the indication is that the meeting chaired by the chairman of the health committee, Dr. Ufriye, came up with a number of plans on the way forward. First being that the Ministry of Health will be reviewing the draft national health policy as soon as practicable. The Health Facility Regulatory Authority will be defining the workspace and personnel for various lab practices. The Ministry of Health would also be laying in Parliament a legislative instrument that would eventually back the Act 857, which governs the work of various health institutions. Not just that, there are a number of other items that are planned as far as the way forward is concerned. The Komfanochi Teaching Hospital and all the residents there are to be given access to the training facilities and as well receive the necessary support to do their work. The Ministry of Health will be restoring the 2 CAF laboratory physicians to their work environment in the Laboratory Services Directorate. And to touch briefly on the final 3 points as far as the agreements are concerned, the Ministry of Health's HR Directorate will be coordinating the creation of a career path and professional growth process for the medical laboratory scientists. And the indication again is that the Ministry of Health will be working with stakeholders to establish a College of Medical Laboratory Scientists. So that's what the roadmap looks like going forward, following the engagement with the Health Committee of Parliament over the last few weeks.
All right, so help us out again. What will be the next steps immediately from this update we have on work of the Parliamentary Committee? All right, we appear to have lost Joseph Opoku-Gakpo there, but let's move on to Dr. ABUDU Rahman. He's the president of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists. Thank you very much, Doc. Now, what did the last meeting agree on?
Good evening to your listeners and viewers. Well, the last meeting was basically to give us an idea what the ministry has at stake for the peaceful resolution of the impasse between us and our colleagues.
All right, and what are the outstanding issues as far as the roadmap is concerned? In fact, do you have a copy of this roadmap, and is that does it meet your expectations?
Yes, we have a copy of the roadmap. In fact, immediately after the presentation, the chairman of the Select Committee on Health did a short had a copy, and then we have been given up to Wednesday to file a response. For us, well, they presented issues and things that they believe we want to hear and we want to be happy about it. And truly, well, they have some of the issues that they had presented which look exciting. For us, it is not about what is presented, but about when and how it's going to be implemented. That is our issue at the moment, because we've heard so much from the ministry. We've heard a lot of good news from them, which is only to buy time and then hope that the action of the laboratory scientists will come down.
All right, please hold on for me. I have also on phone Dr. Justice YANKSON, is the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. Thank you very much, Dr. Justice YANKSON. Now, the Parliamentary Committee, after several deliberations, is giving an interim directive to both sides. Please walk us through them.
Well, Ija, I think we need to clarify what is happening.
All right.
My brother tried his best. I think he sort of straightened what was put out by
Joseph.
Yeah, by Joseph. But I think what essentially happened at our last meeting was that the Ministry of Health was to present its formal position as to how they were going to resolve the issues at stake.
All right.
And within it, they came up with what we can describe as their roadmap that they were going to work with to ensure that come November, at least that was the timelines given per their presentation, a lot of these issues will be resolved. And at that point, the ministry and the Parliamentary Select Committee were unanimous on one thing, and that was that the laboratory physicians and all other cadre of medical personnel in training, as far as lab issues are concerned, were to return back to post such that their primary occupation in terms of work will go on, as well as training. The principle was that they wanted to preserve the status quo whilst the issues are being addressed. So basically the directive from the ministry and the health committee was that the doctors who had been pushed out of the laboratory should go back to the laboratory and start work. Those who are in training and are not also being given access to the laboratory are supposed to go back and have access to the facilities for their training. The other bit was that all parties were supposed to give some written responses, if any, to the roadmap as contained in the briefing by the Ministry of Health. So basically, this is what transpired. Then there were some issues around the development of the National Laboratory Policy, which some work had actually started as at the time we had the meeting. So all the bits that Joseph presented were right, except to say that those were the roadmap as developed by the ministry, which the stakeholders are supposed to put in their written submissions to either enrich it or whatever it is, at least make their input by way of some written submission to the committee.
All right.
The committee would then continue with the processes together with the ministry to ensure that all the bits are done. But like I said, the key directive was that all those who have been pushed out of the lab should go back to work whilst we go through the processes pending potentially a resolution somewhere in November 2021.
All right, Dr. Jackson, two things I'm interested in. First of all, have you made your inputs as far as the roadmap is concerned? I'm talking about the Ghana Medical Association. And then, do you know if the status quo that was talked about has been restored?
Well, per the directive, it was just last Friday. So we are looking at today, tomorrow, by Wednesday, we'll have a very fair idea if the directive as given by the ministry and the select committee has actually been heeded to by all parties. Interestingly, the teaching hospitals where most of these problems are occurring also had all their CEOs present. The Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons also had their rector present. So I guess that today is just day one. All the necessary activities and, basic communications may have to take place before we can really judge that indeed they have been given unfettered access to the laboratories to continue their work and to train. And the caveat is that this particular directive is for the period now till the completion of the various processes as outlined by the ministry that all of us are going to give input. Once those processes are completed, I guess the way forward will be very clear to all parties.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Justice YANKSON of the Ghana Medical Association. Fortunately, I have on the line, still on the line, Dr. ABUDU Rahmani. He's the president of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Sciences. So, Dr. Rahmani, you heard Dr. Justice YANKSON, and from what he's saying, the one thing that's outstanding is that you're supposed to allow the doctors to take their places in the laboratories. Is that something that you're willing to allow to happen?
Well, you know, I knew once you brought him online, that would be his first trademark. But let's say for a fact that even at the meeting, we had disagreement over it. Because if you say we should return to the status quo in the first place, where the people in the lab in the first place before they were booted out, before the strike action began, were they in the lab? That's the question we ask ourselves. If they were not in the lab, then they should stay where they are before the strike action began.
But they had been appointed, Dr. Rahmani. They had appointments. They have appointment.
They didn't. There's no appointment. What's their job description? If they are coming into the lab, you see, there's one thing we need to realize that when they said they should provide them with the technical support. They should be provided with technical support. Who are they going to go to for that technical support? Who are going to provide that technical support? I believe that our understanding was the fact that the ministry gave a roadmap. We had issues with the roadmap, and that is the reason why we are going to issue our part to the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health.
All right.
So it doesn't lie with anyone to say that, oh, we are looking at today or tomorrow. You understand? It doesn't lie in the mouth of anyone to just say we are looking at today or tomorrow. What they need to understand is that you cannot push your way onto some people. It is dialogue that will make us understand each other. So if they want to come into the lab, they should have cool. We'll have the time and then we'll have an understanding. We'll talk about it and then we'll resolve it. But for now, as someone will say, they should just have cool.
So as far as you're concerned, you didn't actually agree to the roadmap?
Actually, no. The roadmap, we have issue with the roadmap. You know, I was telling you that they gave issues that we wanted to understand. But be it as it may, as we always...
All right. Okay, we're losing...
what they said, we know what to do.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Rahmani. Dr. Justice YANKSON actually is still on the line. Dr. Justice YANKSON, quickly, I'd want to get your reaction to that. He says that they didn't quite agree to the roadmap, and as far as the status quo that you're talking about is concerned, it doesn't mean that the doctors are supposed to be in the lab.
Well, it's unfortunate that my brother wants to take this approach, but all the same, that is what he is saying. At the third meeting, the Parliamentary Select Committee, working through the legal person on the committee, explained in detail to them what status quo ante actually means.
But he says they don't agree.
It is what existed before the impasse. And laboratory physicians have always been in the laboratory. They actually train most of them, including Dr. Rahman himself. The laboratory physicians actually set up their school in Kolebu, for example. So if today he is saying that there were no laboratory physicians in the laboratory before the impasse, how come, in quote, this impasse has been there since 2016? Because the confirmatory bit is just something that happened a couple of weeks ago.
All right.
So clearly, I think that maybe they are going against or they are serving an intention to go against what the Parliamentary Select Committee and the ministry directed at the last meeting. That bit was a directive. It was not just contained in the roadmap. Right. It was singled out, discussed, and the directive given them. In fact, the chairman of the committee did make it clear that if anybody decides not to abide by their interim directive, then it may get to a point you cannot even come to them to seek redress. because you need to show them that respect.
All right.
Because this is supposed to be a transitional or temporary arrangement between now and say November, the deadline given. And it is so clear that they should have access to training facilities and what have you. How can you say that people who are going to be trained for the state owns the hospital, the state owns the equipment in the laboratories, and somebody has to be trained by the state through an institution that has been set up by law, by the state, and you say you won't give them access, as if the laboratories belong to you? It is unfortunate.
Okay.
But be that it may, we'll live to see.
All right.
I just wanted to correct my brother that when I said that today, tomorrow, days to come, we're going to observe, it was in relation to the question you asked me as to whether we can confirm that our people have been able to access the laboratory. And that's what I explained, that today being the first day, it's early days yet. We'll need a couple more days to be sure whether they have indeed been given unfettered access or otherwise.
All right.
So I just wanted to get that clarity to him.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jasik Yansing is the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, and you're watching Joy Newsroom. We're taking a break. Still ahead in the bulletin, the opposition NDC says a future administration will probe and prosecute government officials involved in the termination of the GPGC contract, which resulted in a $170 million judgment.
Kufuado, the mother serpent of corruption, who is himself complicit in this matter, fails to act. A future NDC government will investigate this matter.
And then coming up in business after the break, banks urge to improve know your customer requirements to check cash transactions as EU takes Ghana off the list of countries with anti-money laundering deficiencies. Gifty and Rapia will be here with the business and if it's stay tuned in.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. My name is Gifty and up here in this edition. In spite of the European Union's plan to take Ghana off its money laundering blacklist, banks are being urged to put in place monitoring systems to check cash transactions. According to anti-money laundering expert Eric QUARTEY, even though the EU's decision comes as good news, the activity is still pervasive within the banking space. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
Issue is layering will take place when there are people involved. So it doesn't matter the medium or platform, whether it is IT-based or what have you. In cybersecurity, it's another discussion altogether. But the important part of it is that anytime IT comes into business operations, accuracy is sacrificed for speed.
All right.
And so the question of money laundering in the financial service industry is closer to us than the closest we were. And as long as the financial service industry exists in the world, the money laundering will stay at us at all times unless the people speak up. Because when placement takes place as a result of a deposit to a customer's account, money laundering offense does not arise. Okay. It is only when layering takes place. That is when the money dirty money that has been placed into the financial service is being taken out, that the crime or offense of money laundering arises.
Fire incidents have become a regular occurrence, with thousands of lives being lost and millions of cities being lost as well annually. Hardly a day passes without a news of a fire outbreak in one part of the country or the other. The cause of such occurrences have mostly been associated with quality of electrical cables and in their lifespan. In this report, correspondent Inathalia Kwanzaa tells us about how a Ghanaian-owned company with a strong commitment to the growth and sustainability of Africa's energy sector, Reroy Group, seeks to leverage its vast experience and technical expertise to introduce innovative solutions to current and future challenges facing the power sector across the continent.
The lifespan of electrical cables in building is often between 10 and 20 years, but in Ghana, not many people would check their wiring even after several decades, a situation that leads to fire outbreaks. It is against this backdrop that Leroy Cables Limited has begun a nationwide training of industrial players and professionals to create synergy and resolution on the use of quality electrical cables and accessories. The training also seeks to delve deeper into stakeholders' demand scope and how Leroy Cables Limited can support the delivery of quality electrical engineering services. Speaking at a two-day seminar organized for electricians in the Western region on the theme, Buy Made in Ghana Cables and Accessories, a sustainable approach in creating a market for local industries, Commercial Manager Leroy Cables Limited Erasmus Edu explained that in wiring any house or institution, the right cable must be used for the right job, and that a qualified electrician who is well versed for the job must be able to do it.
We are ensuring that they are using quality for their wiring works, and then it is going a long way to serve as a good service they are providing to their client and then the entire nation. We want to use this medium to, train as many certified electricians as we can, so that the issues of fire outbreak that has to do with poor electrical works or poor electrical or substandard electrical products are minimized or is curtailed for good. We want to also tell Ghanaians that we have what it takes to produce quality electrical cables and accessories here in Ghana, and Leroy Cables, we are well positioned for that.
Eshan Bana of the Energy Commission on its part advised Ghanaians to be safety cautious by adhering to the average 10 years rewiring of building instituted by the Energy Commission to avoid any unfavorable surprises.
Electrical wiring regulation 2011, LI 2008, they have given a specific period for every facility to be tested from after 10 years up to 20 years. From 10 years to 20 years, every 2 to 3 years, you have to test insulation resistance of the cable to know the quality of the cable, because when the cable ages, it begins to be cracking, to know the quality of the cable so that we avoid fire outbreak in most of the buildings, and this will help the regulation to go forward.
Some participants at the training who spoke to Joy News were positive if such training are organized periodically, fire outbreaks will be a thing of the past.
That is fake cables that are in the system. You see, some of the cables are not quality, and now we've all known the quality cable that we need to use to prevent these fire outbreaks. So from hence, I believe my members are going to use this cable, patronize it well, so that we will avoid those fire outbreaks.
It educates you. Now you know the type of cable you're supposed to buy in the market. At least Ghana, we deserve. We want improvement, more improvement in our nation. So we want better companies to bring better things in the country.
For Joy News, in Athalia Kwanza, Takoradi.
That's it for business this hour, and back after 8 p.m. But we'll do sports up next, and then Israel is here to continue with the news. I'm Gifty and up here.
And for sports, many thanks for joining me. My name is Hans Mensah Ando, Executive Board Member of KUMASI Asante Kodoko. Evelyn Insiasari says the club remain focused and still chasing the league title despite the club's 1-0 defeat at the hands of Accra Hearts of Oak on Sunday. She spoke to Nathaniel Lato on Sports Today.
Team, we are united. As far as I am concerned, the players, the technical team, the board, the management, all the supporters, we are united, and then we are good to go. Yes, it is Ukumatuma Apimbeba. It is very painful. Very, very painful. Yesterday, driving from KUMASI to Sunyani was a very long way for me, but I managed to come. So I believe that as I am able to go through, they are also able to just curtail it. It is a game, and anything can happen. We scored them last year 2-1. What happened? They never died. So we are also still alive. We are not going to die. Our players are there. We support them. We trust them. They will do it. We still have 3 matches to go. So let's pray what happens. But for us, we say that whatever happens, we are okay with it. I say that we have not conceded anything. It is a league. It is not one-off game. It is a league that we are playing. So we are holding on to our 3 matches. Whatever happens, we'll give praises to God. My players are doing well. Technical team, they are doing well. Supporters. It is not easy for somebody to travel from Sunyani to Accra to watch a game. It is never easy. But when I was coming yesterday, I saw so many supporters coming, even though they were downhearted, because it is not easy. And yesterday was one of the days that I believe we were going to get the 3 maximum points. It didn't come our way. What can we do? We just go on with the normal life.
Let's move into women's football, and the second D-based Azakis ladies showed their mettle in the Women's Premier League after beating rivals Ampim Dakwa ladies 4-0 in the final of the 2020-2021 Premier League on Saturday. Meanwhile, CEO of Azakis ladies, Evelyn Insiasari, has called for financial support for the club as the team prepares to represent Ghana for the first time in the Africa Women's Champions League.
The women in position in Ghana should help us. At least we are going for Champions League. And it's going to be back-to-back. But when we go and we don't make any mark, what is the essence of going again next year? This year is our chance. We have the opportunity. They should make it count. We are just pleading with them. The First Lady should also at least get us something. We have to leave on the 15th of July for Ivory Coast for the Women's Champions League. And then with this weekend too, we are also going in for the final of FA Cup. And I believe we are going to lift that trophy too. I thank all the players and technical team. They've done a very great job. Look at this transportation and other things. We have spent so much money and then time. But here, God has rewarded us.
And some update from Euro 2020. Spain are through to the quarter-final where they play against either Switzerland or France after defeating Croatia in a cracking game, 5-3. The Spaniards won, and 8 goals recorded in that thrilling encounter as the Spaniards march on into the quarter-final. And like I mentioned, they'll be playing against France, either France or Switzerland, who are in action, and France are down by 1-0 against Switzerland. Seferovic with that goal for the Swiss. That's it for sport. You can read more at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensando.
Also on My Joy Online, future NDC regime will prosecute government officials involved in termination of GPGC contract. That Sami Jenfi will have the story coming your way after 8 p.m. Unibank, Amanu Dodu should not have accepted VOG receiver appointment. That's the High Court. Sports presenter and 4-year-old dead in 2 separate accidents in Eastern region, which is also a story we brought you earlier in the bulletin. And that'll be it for those of you who are watching on Joy Prime. Up next, we bring you showbiz. All right, time to bring you showbiz now. Becky Bex is here. Hello, Becky.
Hello to you, Easy.
Yep, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm well. And Diana Hamilton won.
Yes, it was. Let me say thank you. Let me give you
your vote of thanks.
And my own speech. I'd like to say a very big thank you to God for blessing us with this award. We love you, Jesus. But the night was, easy, amazing. The performances were apt. Kwame Eugene's performance was, top notch.
All right.
Dinah performed with Joe Metal, and Kitty won.
Which of the performances would you say on the night was most exciting for you, impressed you the most?
Kwame Eugene's performance and Ifia's performance.
Okay, because I heard a lot about the Ifia performance.
Yeah, Ifia is always giving us, new things. Like, you think that you've listened to her before or seen her perform, but she always comes back like fresh and new. And Ifia was the. Did you watch on TV? No, you didn't follow. Well, here you go. So Kwame Eugene's performance was like Oh, and
was that real money he had on his jacket?
No, please. We all know that it wasn't real money. It's just for the stage. Eno, also won, big on the night,
right.
And it's an amazing night for music.
Gentlemen, representing the VGMA.
Congratulations.
Wow. You're such a fine gentleman.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
He's a true gentleman.
Man, please sit down. Please sit down. Please
Oh,
sit down.
thank
Are you
you.
serious?
Please sit down.
This is very serious. Okay. So this doesn't usually happen, viewers. We don't usually rearrange sets during the show. But
I'll feel special when I sit in the middle.
Okay. Yes, I can have to stand with. Yes. Definitely.
It's working.
Okay.
That's how it is. All right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you,
again.
Diana. Yes.
Okay, so tell her now.
Auntie Diana.
Yes, Kiki.
On behalf of myself and the whole Links Entertainment team, we want to say a big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
God bless you so much.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
I have just one question.
Can I also say congratulations to you?
Yeah,
You
thank
did
you very
amazing.
much. Thank you very much. Thank you very
You
much.
picked 4 awards and that was amazing.
Thank you
so
very
well
much.
done.
Thank you very
for
much.
a great job
Thank you
done.
very much.
And for being such a fine gentleman.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you.
And for actually making this fun as well. I think the fact that you said you put your own head on the table.
Yeah, I put my own
that was my line for this morning.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. I just want to know, is this from your stomach, what you are saying?
Oh, listen. See, from Friday, okay, that was on Friday, right?
Yeah.
I've been nervous since Thursday night to Friday to Saturday, even Sunday when I woke up, the adrenaline and everything. Even now, it's not still simmered down because the throws are still coming in. So maybe by Wednesday or Thursday,
you'll relax. Out for Twitter, I know that we'll find someone else.
I know. Somebody will do something right now. Yeah, don't let me go.
If you pay me, I'll jump off a building so that
I beg you, we don't start.
Yeah, Kitty is a fine gentleman. That's according to Diana Hamilton. You know, when Diana was pronounced the Artist of the Year, people were saying that, he walked out.
Okay, so he left the auditorium.
Because everybody else was leaving because the program had ended. I was there.
Okay, so there were those who said, okay, maybe he stormed out of the building because he was disappointed he didn't.
Yeah, and he went ahead to congratulate Diana on social media. And that's what he's doing right now, trying to tell fans or everybody else that, there's nothing win, and he's cool with. Whilst we were, busy talking about VGMA and paying attention to VGMA, there was Moesha, who apparently got touched by Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for loving me. Thank you so much for saving me. And thank you so much for saving my family. Thank you so much for saving my family. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, so it turns out that...
It's true because she mentioned in this particular video that from now onwards, she is going to concentrate on preaching the word of God. So when people see her, they shouldn't be surprised at what has, just happened. I'm sure a lot of people out there, are saying that it's not true. She did a live video this evening with Victoria Michaels. Apparently, she invited her to church. Right. And somebody asked, are you sure that, this is not just, a one-time thing? She said, no, just, relax and see. This is, me.
And then I checked out the Instagram page. It looks like she's deleted a lot of,
the Heavy pictures.
Curvy,
Yeah.
you know, semi-nude photos.
Yeah.
You know, so it means there's a
I
new
think
motion.
everybody, you know, at a point will you find, you know, Jesus
All
one
right.
day.
BET, what's happening
Yes,
there?
so on Sunday, BET happened. Burna Boy got the African Artist of the Year. This is like the third time. He gave a speech.
Okay.
All right, so that was Burna Boy, and that was Cardi B, you know,
Yeah.
at the tail end, showing as a baby bump, baby
Yeah.
number 2. That's how. We don't have that here in Ghana. Like I have never seen any musician come out and say, "Oh, I'm pregnant," you know, or "Adomo, I'm pregnant." Like perform, but you know that's Cardi B right there, and Burna Boy. Congratulations to Burna Boy.
All right, thank you very much, Becky Bex, for bringing us showbiz.
Anytime.
We're taking a break. We have more stories coming your way. Do stay tuned. Now, the National Identification Card will from today become the unique SNIT number. This follows the decision by the State Pension Trust to begin the process of merging the two numbers as required by law. SNIT contributors who have not registered yet to merge their numbers will have from now to December 2021 to do so. However, for new users, SNIT will only accept the Ghana card as a unique identification for processing benefits and contributions. The move by SNIT means that from January 1, 2022, SNIT contributors will no longer use their scheme numbers but will transact all businesses with the Ghana card. Corporate Affairs Manager at SNIT, Ifeoma Nkwasa says the merger will create a great deal of convenience for members since they can now use one card for all transactions. Now, she joins us on phone with more. Thank you very much, for Sarkodie. Now, how does this work? Explain to us.
Israel, good evening, and thank you for having me. So you put it, you know, very well when you say that it would create convenience and it would essentially make the lives of our clients and members easier. So it works through two main ways. You can either use a USSD, which is a short code, and that is *711*9#. And once you dial that and you fill the prompt, you should be able to merge your number in just about a minute or less. Or you can also do so via our website, www.snit.org.gh. And then you can also use that same, follow the instructions on there to merge. Both processes are quite simple and seamless. And then failing all of that, you could then work to a SNIT branch to be assisted.
Now, if I'd want us to go over the USSD again, because I want to try it right now as we're on air. So give me the short code again. *711*9#. *711*9#.
Yes, Israel.
All right. So I'm working on that. It says, please wait. So I'm waiting for it to show up. Okay. So welcome to SNIT USSD platform. Merge NIA. 1. Merge NIA with SNIT number. And then 2. Check merger status. So
yes, Israel.
Maybe I should do the 2 and see what the status is. And so if I was going to merge and I had my SNIT number, then...
And your NIA number.
Yeah, and then I could have used 1, but right now I don't have any of them. 2 is asking me, please enter your SNIT number or NIA number. I don't have that on hand. So yeah, this is one option. Now you say the other option is that you can also get onto the website of SNIT.
And then, once you get on the website, just click on my statement. And then you can, a form will pop up, you fill the required details, and then you sign in. You go to get access. If you know your password, just type it in. If you've forgotten, go through the forgot password process. And you can click on merge my NIA number. You agree to the terms and conditions. You enter your NIA number, and then you click submit. And then the process of merging a number will begin. If this process is successful, the system will send you an email to tell you that the merger was successful. If for some peculiar reason it wasn't, it will tell you so, and then you can get in touch with us, and then we would advise on what to do.
So for those who can't use any of the options you're giving, which is use the USSD or go onto the website, you're saying they can come to your offices?
Oh, they can. But when they're doing so, they should come with their Ghana card or NIE number. They also have their SNP number or SNP card. They should have a valid email address, a phone number. I do have to add, though, that for members who gave out their SNP numbers during the NIA registration process, their numbers have been merged already automatically in the system. And so all they have to do is dial the same shortcode *711*9# and then select option 2 to check the status, because, like I said, it's been done for them already because we have their numbers.
All right.
But for the rest who may not have done it, then you will do option 1 and then follow the prompt. And
there are those two who have received some text messages from SNIT. Are those the ones that have had their cards, their numbers merged already?
Spot on, Israel, spot on. So those are the ones we're talking about. And so I think from this morning, or is it from 12 midnight last night, from this morning, people have been receiving such messages. And for them, their numbers have been merged.
All right.
So they can just select option 2 to verify or to check that it's been indeed done for them.
Now, there are those who have their NIA cards, but it turns out that there's some mistakes on the NIA cards, as in somebody sent the passports, and before they realized they had entered a wrong month for them, for their NIA cards. Now, how do you merge these two? Or they would have to fix the problem on the NIA cards before they can merge the two?
Once again, spot on. If there is a problem or if there's an error in either your SNP number, it could just even be the way you're entering it, or the NIA number, then you would have to necessarily get that problem resolved before you can merge. Because you see, once you try to merge, the system knows the numbers. And so if there's an error in one of the numbers, it will come back to you and say, there was an error, or you were unsuccessful, and give you further directions as to say maybe call SNET or visit an NIA office for resolution. And so for those who are aware that there are problems with their NIA numbers, I'll encourage that they go to NIA, get that resolved, and then once that is done, the merger process should be pretty smooth and simple.
All right, thank you very much. Ifwa Mankwa Sarkodie is with SNIT. So you may want to try right away, and the number or the hashtag, the code is *711*9#, and you can get to check your status, or you can merge the two numbers. Now, moving on, the opposition NDC says it will in the future probe and prosecute government officials involved in the termination of the GPGC contract. National Communications Officer of the party, Sami Jainfi, described as untrue and misleading claims by Attorney General Godfrey Dame that the termination of the emergency power agreement was occasioned by excess capacity charges. According to Sami Jainfi, a letter purportedly written and signed by the former Energy Minister Boakye Ejiako on reasons assigned to the abrogation of the contract cited failure by GPGC to secure a license from the Energy Commission, plus failure to secure a siting and construction permit for the project. This, he believes, is in sharp contrast with the position of the Attorney General Godfrey Dame. The country is set to pay $170 million in judgment debt over wrongful termination of contract with an independent power producer, Ghana Power Generation Company. Speaking at a news conference, Sami Jainfi insists the termination of the contract is wrongful and without any lawful justification.
The NDC is appalled and disgusted by the incompetence, sloppiness, and recklessness that was displayed by the MPP Akufo-Addo government, particularly the AG's department in the conduct of this case. The perpetrators of this evil must not go unpunished. The NDC, ladies and gentlemen, hereby calls for investigations into the circumstances surrounding the unlawful termination of the GPGC EPA, particularly the alleged so-called recommendation by the Ahenkra Committee for the termination of the said GPGC EPA, which in our view raises issues of fraud. We also demand that all officials of the Akufo-Addo government who were directly or indirectly involved in the processes leading to this huge financial loss to the states are held responsible and punished for sin. But in the likely event that President Akufo-Addo, the mother serpent of corruption, who is himself complicit in this matter, fails to act, a future NDC government will investigate this matter and ensure that those responsible for the wrongful termination of the GPGC EPA and avoidable judgment debt and financial loss it has caused the nation are brought to book.
All right, we're taking a break here on Joy News Prime. We're bringing you more business. Stay tuned in.
And hello there, I'm back with some more business now. The lack of proper bookkeeping by micro, small and medium-sized enterprises has been identified as one of the main causes of poor access to funding by these enterprises. According to the head of business banking at Access Bank, Jones Damois, MSMEs require proper screening by banks to make them credit-worthy. He spoke to Joy Business during an event to mark the UN's MSME Day, and here is a report.
The services, commerce, finance and the manufacturing sectors of the economy contributed 62.5% of total credits issued by banks, according to the Bank of Ghana. Loans may not reach as many startups and some MSMEs who need it the most because banks say they may be too risky. While some banks will not give startups loans until 6 months, others say mostly startups hardly register their businesses or follow through proper bookkeeping to attract opportunities. The International Trade Center says startups and MSMEs contribute 92% of all registered businesses in Ghana and 70% contribution to GDP, so the issues move beyond business registration. I have come to some banks to find out who they are lending to and why startups and micro, small and medium-sized businesses may not get the funding as we celebrate the UN's MSME Day. Jones Damois, head business banking, Access Bank, says the bank currently works with JICA to prepare new businesses and screen them before loans are allocated.
Kindly, we, for instance, have partnership with JICA, which has specialized in grooming MSMEs for a certain period. And during that incubation period, we also work with them along the line. When these businesses get to that point where they are able to stand on their feet, then as a bank, we step in, we take it up from there, and then we give them the necessary support.
At Cal Bank, indications are that businesses in this space are either not registering or keeping proper books.
If you have a business but it's not registered and you are running your personal account with your business funding, it limits you to the extent of support you can get for your business. So I think it's fundamental. That's why I mentioned that registering a business was critical.
Corporate banking services for startups that need a loan in millions of Ghana cedis require them to have their skin in the game. Not less than 30% of the required funding amount is needed as equity in the business. Justine Learning is Group Head, Corporate Banking.
How much of your skin is in the game? Because if I gave you 15 million cedis today as CalBank and
tomorrow you woke up at the wrong side of
and your business wasn't doing well, walking away is the easiest thing to do, and then I'm saddled with a bill of 15 plus interest. How much of your skin is in the game? Minimally 30% of your skin must be in the game. That is equity.
The UN celebration of MSME's Day is themed MSME 2021, key to an inclusive and sustainable recovery. This can only be possible if there are enough support systems in various countries for the sector. For instance, International Trade Center says 62% of women-led businesses were the most affected by COVID-19. A special regime, therefore, will be required to weather the storm for them.
And let's bring you the international business summaries now. And that'll be all for tonight. My name is Gifty Andopia, and I'm handing over to EJURA to close it off for us.
All right, thank you very much, Gifty. That'll be it for the bulletin. And you have a good night. Up next, we're bringing you our Hotline documentary.